The moment you're ready to quit is often the moments right before the miracle happens. How many of you have felt like giving up recently? I'm not just talking about on your goals or dreams, I mean giving up on life itself. Raising your hand honestly takes courage, but I want you to know you're not alone. We've all been there at some point. The path to creating the life you truly want is never an easy one. It's filled with obstacles, setbacks, disappointments. The voice of fear and doubt constantly whispers in your ear, this is too hard. You'll never make it. Just give up. And there are times when that voice gets so loud that walking away seems like the only viable option. But I'm here today to urge you. No. To implore you. Don't give up. Not now, not ever. Because the light at the end of the tunnel, as cliche as it sounds, is real. And if you can just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you will get there. I know this from personal experience. There were plenty of times in my life when I wanted to wave the white flag, when negativity overshadowed all the progress I'd made, when giving up felt like it would be such sweet relief from the relentless struggle. But something deep inside me refused to surrender. And I'm so grateful for that, because it led me to some of the greatest achievements and most profound personal growth I've ever experienced. Had I given up, I never would have realized how capable I truly am of overcoming adversity and creating remarkable change in my reality. You have that same capability inside you, an innate power and resilience that anxieties and fears can never fully extinguish. My mission today is to throw fuel on that inner fire and help you fan it into an unstoppable blaze of persistence and determination. Because when you don't give up, you open yourself to miracles. Miracles of healing, of personal transformation, of rewriting your life story into something more beautiful than you ever could have imagined. But you have to stay in the game long enough for those miracles to unfold. The first key is to realize that every adversity contains the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. The struggles you face aren't punishments. They're opportunities brilliantly disguised as insoluble problems. Once you make that inner shift in how you perceive obstacles, you'll be unstoppable. The second key is accepting that change is never easy in the beginning. Creating anything new, habits, experiences, circumstances, requires pushing through what's known as the energy dip until the new neural pathways are established. This difficult transition period is when most people get discouraged and revert to their old patterns. Don't fall into that trap. Embrace the temporary discomfort as evidence that you're remodeling your mind. The third key is keeping your eyes on the prize. Your vision of who you're deciding to become. Let it inspire you, motivate you, pull you forward when the going gets tough, because it's just a matter of time before your dreams manifest into reality if you stay committed. I'm going to ask you all to do something extremely powerful right now. Close your eyes and imagine, in vivid detail, what it will feel like when you've achieved your biggest goals and wildest dreams. Don't hold back. Allow yourself to really drink in the emotions of that accomplishment. How does it feel? Exhilarating, deeply satisfying, like the greatest relief after years of struggle. Whatever it is, burn that feeling into your consciousness, because that's the prize you're playing for when you decide not to give up. Now I want you to imagine the alternative, what it would feel like to quit on yourself and your dreams. Think about how that resignation and regret would weigh on you for the rest of your days. Is that something you could ever find true peace with? Open your eyes. Which experience do you choose? The triumph of persevering till the breakthrough, or the interminable ache of giving up before the miracle? My friends, the choice is yours. When the voice of doubt starts creeping back in, reminding you of all the times you failed before, I want you to respond with an unwavering, so what? The past no longer has any power over you unless you relinquish your power to it. You're not the same person you were when you experienced those setbacks and disappointments. From this day forward, you make a solemn vow never to give up on yourself again. To keep showing up, putting in the work, and having unshakable faith that you're rewriting the script of your lives in indelible ink. You may be thinking, but Joe, you don't know how hard things are for me right now. You don't know my struggles, and you're absolutely right. I don't know the intricate details of your personal journey and pains, but I do know the human spirit and all that it's capable of overcoming. I've witnessed again and again the incredible transformations that occur when someone taps into their own tenacity and inner fortitude, when they stare down the gremlins of fear and insecurity and make the defiant choice to push forward no matter what. That strength of spirit doesn't just appear out of thin air. It's forged in the fires of adversity and emotional crucibles. It's those dark nights of the soul when you feel completely alone that birth a deeper level of grit and determination within you. So the depth of pain and challenges you currently face are actually an incredible advantage, because wrestling with those demons will ultimately unveil the answers you've been desperately seeking. Who you are at your core, what your purpose is, and that you have what it takes to realize your greatest potential. But you can't reap those revelations if you exit the battlefield prematurely. You have to keep fighting for your dreams through every single round until the final bell. It's the only way they can emerge victoriously from the ashes of past failures and heartbreaks. So let me share a few more potent mind remodeling thoughts to bolster your resolve. First, understand that nothing worth anything ever came easily. True personal growth, genuine achievement, profound relationships, they all exact a cost in dedication and perseverance. Anything easily attained isn't valued. It's the struggle that mints the reward with deeper meaning. The breakthroughs are always preceded by the breakdowns. So when you find yourself in the depths of a pit, recognize that you're likely much closer to the breakthrough than you realize. Don't lose heart. Second, appreciate that fear and discomfort aren't signs that you're on the wrong path. Quite the opposite. They're indicators that you're venturing beyond your comfort zone into new territory where the grandest prizes of self-actualization await. Embrace those emotions as noble allies keeping you invigorated, not misguided foes trying to derail your journey. Third, keep things in perspective. Every struggle you now face is temporary and merely a blip when weighed against the grand canvas of your eternal soul's evolution. It's through these difficulties that you reincarnate into a more evolved version of yourself. What seems unendurable in this moment is simply tuition for the priceless wisdom you'll carry forward. When emotions run high and hopelessness threatens to consume you, take a step back and ask yourself, how will I look back on this challenge years from now? As the obstacle that stopped me cold in my track, or the fuel that refired my tenacity? Because that's the perspective your future self will have. That this too shall pass and pale in comparison to the successes that persisting toward your vision ushered into reality. Nothing is insurmountable from the vantage point of time. Please etch that truth into your consciousness, because I can't overstate how pivotal it is in cultivating the mindset of a winner who doesn't give up. You're simply in the messy process of midwifing the future you yearn for, which means enduring the inevitable labor pains. So meet those pains head on, free of fear or insecurity. Labor through them with unwavering concentration. Because nothing tastes sweeter than your brilliantly redesigned life being birthed into this world. When you don't give up in spite of every reason to capitulate, you position yourself for two of the most empowering experiences imaginable. The first is achieving feats you once deemed impossible through consistent applied effort. I want you to appreciate just how monumental that is. To prove your mental and physical limitations no longer apply. It's one of the most euphoric feelings a human can experience, and the surest way to shed every last self-limiting belief. The second is self-actualization. In persevering to the end, you'll forge an unshakable level of confidence in yourself that no one can ever take away. You'll know beyond any doubt that you have the tenacity and heart of a winner in any endeavor. Think about how that unbreakable self-assurance would rock your world, how far you could soar without fear of failure or lack of belief weighing you down, how unstoppable your dreams and aspirations would become when no but escapes your lips anymore. It's a profound metamorphosis that not everyone gets to experience. To shed all past disappointments and discover the truth of your limitless potential. But it can't unfold unless you make a vow today to never give up under any circumstances. I will not give up. Not tomorrow, not ever again. My brilliant future will be realized through the grit and tenacity that my challenges are forging within me. No setback can stop me from creating my destiny and embodying the greatest version of myself. Now let that declaration reverberate in every cell of your being. Allow yourselves to feel that invincible defiance roaring to life within. That unstoppable inner decree that you won't surrender until your mission is accomplished, no matter how long it takes or how impossible it appears. Because you are warriors, seekers, creators, and pioneers. Ordinary rules and limitations don't apply to you. Giving up isn't an option for souls who yearn to realize the highest possibilities of their human experience. So stand tall, lift your chins, and meet adversity head-on with your spirit blazing. Feel that fire fueling your drive, your energy levels, your passion. It's the vital source of power you'll rely on in moments of doubt, fear, or fatigue to propel yourself forward. Draw upon it generously and let it raise any mental roadblocks to the ground. Most of all, allow it to fortify your unshakable faith that your efforts will pay off in breakthrough after breakthrough. You aren't just molding your external reality. You're crafting the depth of your character and forging an iron resolve equal to any trial. The person emerging from this journey will be virtually unrecognizable. A wondrous fusion of the wisdom and resilience required to not just achieve success, but sustain it long term. Every person here today has a destiny, a heroic journey uniquely theirs to embark upon and fulfill. Not a single soul arrived on this planet to shrink back into apathy or helplessness when the road got rocky. You came to remodel yourselves and your world in ever-expanding ways. Will challenges and obstacles arise that seemingly defy resolution? Absolutely. Will there be days or weeks or months when giving up appears infinitely easier than continuing? Most definitely. But we didn't assemble here to idly ponder the path of least resistance. We came to celebrate and nourish that eternally defiant spark of the human spirit that propels us to overcome any adversity through sheer force of will, creativity, and trust in miraculous. That spark is the most precious inheritance you'll ever receive, more priceless than any wealth or material possession. Guard it fiercely against the insidious voices that would see you extinguish your radiant brilliance. Draw courage and sustenance from those who've channeled its sacred fire before you. For me, I'm reminded of visionaries like Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 long years unjustly imprisoned, yet never surrendered his dream of a democratic South Africa. After a devastating spinal injury, I decided to tap into the limitless power of the mind through focused meditation and visualization, leading to a full recovery without surgery, showcasing the extraordinary potential that lies within each of us. There are so many luminaries throughout history who refused to abandon hope and persisted against all odds. They showed that as long as you keep getting up one more time, then you were knocked down. Triumph is inevitable. Allow their indomitable spirits to breathe courage and tenacity into yours. Giving up is a decision, not a necessity. It's a choice that every person here is free to make or reject in any given moment. So why not choose the fiery path of a dragon slayer, the hero who voyages onward through every shadow and peril until the prize is claimed? After all, you didn't come into this life to meekly abandon your quest prematurely. Let that ferocious call to victory echo in your mind and reverberate through every fiber of your being. Allow it to fortify your conviction that you have what it takes to seize greatness, no matter what obstacles try to convince you otherwise. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to endure every trial and remake yourselves into living monuments to the awesome power of the unconquered human spirit. I believe that inside each of you burns an eternal flame of passion, creativity, and resilience that no adversity can ever extinguish. All it takes is an unyielding decision to never abandon that blaze, and allow it to illuminate your path onward until the radiant dawn of your highest victories. So I will say it again, don't give up. Not now, not tomorrow. Never the seeds of your grandest breakthroughs, achievements, and triumphs over limitation are already planted. All they need to flourish is for you to tend them faithfully, never doubting their inevitable blossoming. What will your legacy be? The person who allowed fear and resignation to needlessly cut amazing futures short. Or the unstoppable force whose courage in the face of adversity inspired generations to come. The choice is yours. So dedicate yourselves here today to persisting relentlessly until your highest vision is manifested into this reality. Don't abandon your quest before the final battle is victoriously won. Have patience, summon your bravery, and keep showing up for the miracles awaiting you. Your unwavering commitment will unlock every treasure your heart yearns to possess. You're powerful beyond measure. You are destined to achieve the seemingly impossible. You can realize your greatest dreams and emerge reborn, victorious over anything that has held you hostage. All you need to do is never ever give up. You've heard the saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Well, it's time to embody that spirit of resilience and determination like never before, because the challenges and obstacles standing between you and your dreams, they're not roadblocks. They're initiation rites into the elite ranks of those who refuse to abandon their quest for greatness. Think about it. Every epic hero's journey is riddled with life or death tests of courage, perseverance, and commitment to their vision. From Frodo braving the hellish landscapes of Mordor to Katniss surviving the merciless Hunger Games, They all faced overwhelming odds S that would have crushed lesser beings. But what set them apart was their unwavering refusal to surrender when the path looked impassable. They pushed through the pain, fear, and doubt until they emerged victorious. And in doing so, they forged an unbreakable spirit that made them living legends. That same opportunity to etch your name amongst history's luminaries is being offered to you through your current challenges. Will you falter like so many others and abandon your heroic journey prematurely? Or will you rise up and stoically bear any burden required to birth your vision into this reality? The choice is yours, but I caution you, there is no try. There is only resolute commitment or resignation. The universe doesn't traffic in half measures when it comes to realizing your highest aims. It demands complete devotion to your path. And the intestinal fortitude to plow through any obstacle, no matter how daunting. That's the ultimate separating line between winners and failures. Dreamers and doers, the special forces and the civilian population. One camp makes promises and negotiates with fears. The other burns their ships and marches forward, giving zero quarter to surrender or retreat. You know which ranks I choose to stand amongst. How about you? Those who have tasted true fulfillment and basked in the glory of attaining their wildest dreams will attest. The nectar is ultimately sweeter when it's hard-earned. Easy successes tend to be fleeting and hollow compared to the soul-fortifying triumph of conquering the impossible. So embrace your current struggles as the seminal test defining your character and worthiness. Look at each setback as an opportunity to strengthen your resolve and prove your tenacity to the universe. When you meet each one with grit and defiance, you're clearing the highest hurdles towards self-actualization. That's the mindset of champions, turning perceived curses into powerful catalysts for growth and testing the depths of their perseverance. They lean into the resistance knowing that's the only way to expand their capacities, and crucible after crucible, they remake themselves into hardened warriors who simply cannot be defeated. If you stay unwavering on your path, you will reap miraculous harvests that will boggle your own mind. I'm talking levels of success and breakthrough. That would seem like impossible fantasies right now. But that's the transcendent beauty of not giving up. No matter how dire circumstances appear in any given moment, you're always exponentially closer to your goals than your consciousness can conceive. Each day of persisting waters fertile seeds of future victories. Trust me, I've seen the almost unfathomable heights people can rise to when they refuse to abandon their visions. Lives hopelessly shattered get rebuilt into unimaginable dreamscapes. Insurmountable odds somehow get toppled by sheer force of persistent will. That same alchemy is readily available to you when you make the solemn vow to not give up under any circumstances. Because once you cross that sacred threshold of commitment, you engage the miraculous mechanisms of creation to realign all forces of the universe on your behalf. Do you have any idea how powerful that decision is? It's like setting an irrevocable intention with all of existence that cannot be denied. Every resource, inspiration, an opportunity required for your triumph will start magnetizing towards you when you vow to never give up until you fully experience the object of your yearnings. Nothing can stop that universal co-creation except your own wavering will. As long as you keep that inner fire fed with devotional constancy, celestial forces will conspire in ever more mind-blowing ways to clear your path. Solutions will appear when the way seems blocked. Unexpected sources of support and assistance will emerge at the right moments. Synchronistic currents will usher you into auspicious flows at every pivot point. It's a phenomenon many mystics and sages have observed across cultures, but few ultimately experience for themselves. But to those who crack that metaphysical code by not giving up, the universe performs like a ceremoniously robed genie, summoning its unfathomable powers to grant their heart's deepest desires. No wish is too grandiose, no aspiration unreachable. That may seem fanciful from our grounded rational minds, but I assure you, I've witnessed this cosmic choreography unfurl firsthand in my own journey, and for countless others who've walked the path before you. So if you're ready to burn that level of commitment into your consciousness, to not merely hope or aspire for your dreams, but to resign yourself to realizing them no matter how long it takes or what must be endured, prepare to have your mind blown. Because when you remove the final hinges from the gate of resignation, truly wondrous possibilities begin flooding your reality. My role today is simply to water those seeds of miracle making already sown deep within you. to breathe courage and self-trust into any remaining pockets of doubt lingering inside, and to urge you onwards to the glorious finish line by honoring the struggle that will ultimately deliver you there. Because that sacred struggle, that daily wrestling and wrangling with adversity, that's where your character is rebuilt and reinforced into an architectural marvel capable of withstanding any storm. It's where the soul steel is forged from which your life's highest masterpiece will be crafted. So you must keep showing up and rolling those boulder-sized problems up the mountain each day. No matter how relentless gravity's pull may feel, you must keep rising after every setback and adjusting your approach if required. But never stray from that upward trajectory leading towards your aspirations' summits. No matter how steep that climb appears before you, it simply cannot be compared to the soaring altitude of freedom and self-actualization you'll experience in conquering it. Up there, entire horizons of possibility and potential will await your realization, and the view from those breathtaking heights of achievement, well, it forever ruins complacency with anything less. That's because once you've glimpsed and breathed the rarefied air of someone who refused to abandon their visions, who determinedly ascended through every trial and tribulation, you can never again settle for discarding your grandest dreams prematurely. The only option available is to keep aiming higher and smashing through the once perceived limitations. To carve new access points to human potentials thought forever off limits. It's that uncompromising spirit and commitment that distinguishes the blazing-eyed heroes from the haunted masses who gave up too soon. If there's ever a hint of fatigue or resignation, first know that you already possess every single ingredient required for success. No exceptions. You have the raw materials of any grandest construction inside you right now. All that's required is to chisel away the excess with discipline and sustained persistence to reveal your highest self. Second, understand that each new level of attainment is simply an expansion of identity, not a cosmic granting of worthiness. You don't achieve the goals first and then feel entitled to self-actualization. You start self-actualizing first, and the goals start manifesting as natural extensions of your newer, elevated state. So get busy remodeling your belief systems, habits, and consciousness into that of a winner. Become the person who accomplishes great feats first through daily assumption and commitment. Then watch in awe as your external reality starts conforming to those upgraded inner blueprints. Finally, let this be the catalyzing thought that propels you forward whenever the path seems impossibly true. Just keep taking the very next step before you, and leave the rest up to the miraculous chain of events that cannot be stopped once you engage it through sustained action. Don't worry about having to solve the entire journey's logistical challenges today. Simply focus on that first step. Then the next, and the next after that with indomitable perseverance. Before you know it, you'll have faithfully green-lighted one cosmic dispensation after another, until you arrive at your final triumphant destination with wonderment at how the most complex obstacles dissolve before you. That's the great energetic secret behind all success that gets obscured from consciousness. It's never about being able to perfectly strategize or ensure every variable ahead of time. It's about committing to the journey, no matter what hurdles appear, and allowing that very commitment to invoke higher powers to miraculously clear the path. So get busy putting those footsteps into the terrain one after the other after the other. Let that be your full-hearted focus and devotion. And I promise, the universe will handle the intricate details of your arrival. All you need to contribute is that sacred vow to never give up under any circumstances. Make that commitment here today and allow it to settle into the deepest marrows of your being with the force of an unstoppable decree. Then watch and wonder as your life script starts rewriting itself into a tale of spectacular victories, achievements, and self-mastery, just like every myth and legend you've been subconsciously summoned to live out. The hero's journey was never meant to be easy. But those who endured every stage without abandoning their quests are forever etched into the pantheons of human greatness. May you say you now take your rightful place amongst those luminous ranks, never surrendering until your highest vision is manifested. When you make the decision to never give up on your dreams and goals when something profound occurs within you, it's almost like throwing a switch that activates dormant capacities you never knew existed. Because be honest, as long as you leave the back door of resignation cracked open, you'll keep subconsciously short-circuiting your own efforts. A part of you remains mentally and emotionally hedged, never fully committing the totality of your being. But once you padlock that exit and burn the archetypal ships, you finally release the full measure of your focus, intention, creativity, and personal power. That's when the real magic begins orchestrating itself into your reality. Think about it. How many luminaries throughout history achieved their immortal accomplishments precisely because they had no choice but to persist? And because returning to the status quo they'd abandoned was far more terrifying than any obstacle, from the Wright brothers to Nelson Mandela. So many pioneers and world changers displayed superhuman levels of tenacity, not because they were somehow superior beings, but because they decided in no uncertain terms that failing to realize their vision was not an option. That commitment bridged the gap between what was and what was possible. It's what allowed them to solve the seemingly unsolvable and accomplish unfathomable feats. And it can do the exact same for you. The second you stamp a metaphysical finality on giving up, you engage some higher capacity for achievement than you've ever experienced. Why? Because certainty is one of the greatest catalysts we have for actualizing potential into reality. As strange as it may sound, the universe responds far more readily when you remove any mental wiggle room. When you declare with a predicted conviction this will be created no matter what, it's like drawing a line in the sand. With the infinite field of possibility, every element, energy, and force required for your triumph immediately begins lining up in concert. Avenues and openings start unveiling themselves that were never visible from a hedged state of mind. That's the incredible power of 100% commitment. It turns you into a lightning rod for miraculous creation that would have stayed dormant otherwise. Now, I'm sure for many of you, that prospect sounds both wondrous and somewhat terrifying. After all, in rising to the level of someone who simply won't abandon themselves, you'll be scorching through all your old self-limiting beliefs, doubts, and fears. You'll have to remodel huge swaths of your identity along the way. Because the person you are today is likely vastly different than the person who has what it takes to realize your highest aims and boldest visions. Does that make you feel a little breathless, or like the hero being called to a greater adventure than you ever imagined? If so, wonderful. That feeling of being pulled into your own heroic story of metamorphosis. And ascension is the first tremor alerting you to potentials you've left untapped. At times it may feel like you're being stripped entirely naked of every comforting persona and identity marker. Like you're a soul butterfly emerging from its worn cocoon, yet deeply vulnerable in ways you can scarcely process. But that transitional sense of feeling ungrounded and unmoored is actually the gateway to actualizing your greatest capacities. It's your consciousness destabilizing so it can permanently shed everything too confining or constricting about your prior self-concepts. In esoteric terms, you're essentially undergoing cycles of psychozelic death and rebirth in service of your next quantum level of consciousness. If you stay vigilant and true to your path, you'll start rising from each symbolic ash heap more empowered, capable, and laser-focused than before. The seemingly disruptive process of shedding layers of your old conditioning to unveil the unvarnished truth of your power. It's the universal initiation every world transformer and civilization shift has undergone in secret. No one who accomplished any enduring greatness did so by staying immaculately insulated from growth. The path of the true trailblazer and pathfinder demands initiation after initiation, a willingness to be stripped bare of every former identity until only the core essence remains. From that spirit-forged nucleus, innovators rebuild themselves into the elite-level creators and actualizers required to bring their highest visions into this world. The great ones throughout history embraced this cycle of ego deconstruction and psyche rebirth not because it was easy, but precisely because it unveiled capacities and powers they never knew they possessed. With each molting of their old skins, they expanded into strange new altitudes of mindset, resilience, and creative wizardry. So if you're feeling unraveled or ungrounded by your commitment to never give up, celebrate it. You're allowing the universe to initiate you into some next level access of your own latent potentials. Yes, the experience can be disorienting and even frightening at times, but that signifies you're being ceremonially reborn into a new instantiation of selfhood more capable of victory. The poets and mystics whispered about this metamorphic process, encoding it into stories and mythic cycles, same VJG's transformative journey and Star Trek to the hero's journey laid out by Joseph Campbell. They all point to the same universal truths. to ascend into your highest future. First, you must bravely surrender every concealment of your current ego and identity restraints. Only then can the boundless self crystallize into its most permeable state, ready to channel the full magnitude of your soul's brilliance. The sage stays malleable and open despite having achieved the ultimate awakening, for they know the human experience is an ever-expanding aperture into the infinite mystery of creation itself. Each new cycle of growth and self-rediscovery unveils greater empowerment and revelations that can barely be glimpsed through prior lenses. So welcome the tumult and discomfort accompanying your vow to not give up as harbingers of your impending elevation. Embrace the unbecoming of who you've been as prerequisite for who you're destined to embody next. Be grateful for the dissolution allowing you to alchemize into a new mythic personification of possibility, courage, and creative fecundity. Because that seemingly scary sense of shedding masks and having your world turned upside down is the prelude to your next. Outstripping of former limitations and actualizing of latent potentials. It's the archetypal metamorphosis every realized master has walked before you. So keep committing to the path no matter how turbulent or kaleidoscopic the experience gets. Let yourself be stripped bare until all that remains is the resolute essence of your spirit that ignited this entire process of transformation. From that bedrock core of pure intention and commitment, a wholly reimagined self will start taking form. One that possesses the perfect capacities to boldly manifest the dreams and yearnings you once assumed were too monumental. Much like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon with newly formed wings, this regeneration allows you to finally take flight into limitless realms of achieving the wildest goals and realizing who you've always been destined to become. So let go of any attachments to the decaying former versions of your identity. Welcome the churning chaos as harbingers of greater freedom and power arising within you. And above all else, no matter what, never abandon your quest to realize the highest territories of your potential, for that intention alone is what beckons the forces of creation to alchemize you into a supreme instrument of manifestation.